Hey everyone, it's Ray with the education team from Swirlydoos Kit Club, and today I'm going to show you the different mediums that come in the medium add-on for December 2013. I'm going to show you some different things you can do with them, so if you have never used them before, you can bust them out and start doing stuff with them. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is the embossing powder from Liddy's Stank Gang in Oak Leaf Olive. And we got some embossing powder last month too, but I want to show you just another thing that you can do with them. So I'm going to show you a little tag that I'm working on, and it's just the wood tag that came in the embellishment kit. This is from the Prima Jubilee line, and I used the embossing powder on here on the holly. And how I did that was I used an embossing pin, and here it is, and I just colored in with this embossing pin because it's wet, and then I use the embossing powder. So there's really not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. It's just that this pin makes it really nice to get in there for some detailed work. So you can do that for detail, and you can also use it with masks. I don't know if a lot of people use embossing powder with masks. I haven't really, but it does come out pretty cool. So I'm going to use this tag. This is a size 8 tag from Ranger. And because I'm going to use embossing powder, I'm going to take a dryer sheet and rub that so that the embossing powder doesn't stick to the pieces that I don't want it to. And let's see, I'm going to use this mask. This is a Prima mask, and I already have an idea for this tag, and even though this mask is a 6x6, it's okay because I'm going to be doing something on the very bottom. So as long as I line this up, I'll get everything that I need on there. And so I have this embossing ink pad, and when I was experimenting, I thought it would be a good idea to maybe just press down, but it doesn't show up. So what you have to do, if you have a more juicy one, it might, but I found it really nice just to rub it along here. And the one thing I like about this too is because my pad is maybe not so juicy, is that it's going to look like it's somewhat distressed, which I'm excited about. So I'm just going to put the tag inside of my little embossing powder catcher. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and I'll be able to use that for my project later. And the next medium I'm going to show you is the Crackling Color. We also got some of this in last month's medium kit, and we got it in a blackberry color. Look like this, dries like this, and I showed you several different ways of doing it. I used a few different ways already from the last time I made a video, and I'm going to show you this layout that I made based on this sketch. I used it right here on this resin frame. I'm going to try and get the measure as close as I can. And it does have some tiny crackling. I'm not sure if that's going to pick up, but there is some crackling on there, and it's just a beautiful color anyway. It goes so well with this kit. And then I used a palette knife and a mask for this right here. It looks like paint splatters, but it's not. And I would have to say that the Crackling Paint doesn't do exactly well with a mask sometimes. This is very textured because these are paper strips right here. So I couldn't sit the mask exactly flat, so these didn't come out like the perfect images in the mask, which are just little tiny circles. They are a little bit splattery, but I still like how it came out. And something else that you can do with the Crackling Paint that I haven't showed you yet is you can put it on the edge of things. Sorry. You can put it on the edge of things like this, and it makes a little crackly edge. So I thought that was a cool way to use it. And if you want more ideas of how to use it, like just basic ones, check out the mediums video from last month for November 2013. That's the first time I did this kind of a video. And The next one that we have is the Distress Stain. And I know that there's lots of videos on this, especially Tim Holtz. He makes a lot of videos on his own products, so I'm not going to really go over too many things with you on how to do it. I'll just mention some of the things. The first one is, I'll bring this layout back again, is I use the Distress Stain on this Joy, this is wood, and I just saturated it because I just wanted to see how dark it would get. So it's pretty dark, and I thought that came out pretty well. So you can also use it with a brush. I used the very tip of it, and all I did was open this Distress Stain up. I took a very fine brush and I made little dots for the holly in there, so it's basically just for an accent. You can also use this as an accent if you put it into a mini mister. You can just spray and it has little accent splatters, so that's a good way. Another way you can use it is just to put it on a craft sheet and put some ribbon in there. You can see that it's very gradient. It comes out very different on the whole strand if you're just putting it in there. I wet this first because it was going to like basically bleed a little better. I'm not exactly thrilled with the color of that. I think it looks better with other colors, but it's pretty cool anyway. Just the gradient look that you can get to it. And the other thing that I like to do is I like to put it over embossing. So I'm going to get that tag. Where did I put it? There it is. I'm just going to go over this, and that's going to act like a resist. And it can look like that. So those are some ways you can use Distress Stain if you haven't used it before. And the last medium that we have in this kit is Modeling Cream by Viva Decor, and this is the burgundy color. And pretty much you can use this like you use any other modeling paste, it's just colored. So I thought I would show you how it looks on a mask, or with a mask rather. So let me wipe this off. I'll wipe off the embossing ink that's on there. So I wanted to share with you how vibrant this is, so I thought I would put it on a piece of black cardstock just so that you can see that it doesn't blend in. It's a very bold color. So I'm going to start out with a palette knife. I'm just going to hold this as still as I can. And I find if you do a rolling motion like this, it makes sure that the mask doesn't pull up when you pull it off. But now I'm just going to take this sponge and sponge it on. Again, I'm using that rolling motion so that the mask doesn't come up. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Wow, that color is really there. And I like both of the ways that these turned out. I like the thickness of using the palette knife, and I also like the texture that you get from using the sponge. So those are some different ways you can use it with a mask. If you wanted to, you could also put this very heavily on a canvas. I think it would work best rather than paper. And you could maybe take the end of a paintbrush, swirl it around, make some sort of patterns. It's just thick, so you can do whatever you want with that. So those are some different ways that you can use all of these mediums, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know if you do any of these techniques, and be sure to share those with us at swirlydoos.com on the forums in the technique section. And thanks for watching.